So in an off season where not a lot of people expected much, Warriors seem to be in pretty good shape.
We hope so. I mean, I don't think we expected the result from the off season, but we also lost two good players in Landry and Jack. So we're gonna have to build chemistry. We're gonna have to keep working hard, but we're always trying to get better, and that's what we did in the off season. And most of the time, when you're up against something like that, it doesn't work. But for us, fortuitous that it did. So we'll see what happens.
Do you feel like you've made up in those areas where you've lost Jack and Landry?
I mean, we hope. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't have done that deal if we didn't think it improved our team. But those were great guys for this team. Great on the court, great off the court. Specifically, we felt like adding a guy like Iguodala and Tony Douglas and some other players we added just gave us more of a presence in the paint offensively. We think upgraded us defensively. But you don't know. I mean, I guess a year ago I wouldn't have known that Jack and Landry would have the positive impact they did. So you do your best, you put in the time, you put in the work, and you hope the results come. But we'll see. We're hopeful.
With so many new additions, are you worried about the chemistry on the court?
I'm always worried about everything. But yeah, chemistry is fragile. I mean, you can have it at one point in the season, you can have it in the preseason and lose it halfway through. And that was one thing that I think the coaching staff did a great job of last year was developing that chemistry and meshing it and learning what lineups worked, leaders developing on the team, and going through all the machinations of what it takes to win on an 82-game schedule. So we hope we put together the right type of players and right type of people to have similar success.
To piggyback on that, how important is it that the reputation of Jermaine, Tony, and Mo is that they are good guys?
Reputation is important. Character is important in anything in life, but certainly when you're on a team where you're with each other all the time, you can really kind of get sick of each other. When you're around each other and you're competing and you're working hard and going against each other, it can get pretty tiresome. So you want good people, and especially when adversity strikes, you want to know that you're kind of the group that you're with has the capacity and the maturity to get through it. Because through 82 games, there's going to be obstacles. And you're going to have to find ways to get around them. And the better people that you're surrounded with, the more likely you are to get through those things. But we've made a conscious effort, and I think you'd reference Joe and Peter and their philosophy as far as bringing in great people, talented people to do their jobs. We try to continue that on with the roster of the players.
This time they've spent together since after Labor Day kind of add to the chemistry, kind of start to build that early at all?
Yeah, I think so. It sends a message, I think, accountability from the player standpoint, who's here, who's not. Obviously, it's voluntary, so you like to see people that want to work. I saw a good quote the other day from Thomas Edison. He said, opportunity is often missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. And so I always remember that and think, you put the time in life, whatever you're doing, hard work does pay off. So I just lump it into that category of they're working hard for a good result. And chemistry is built through respecting each other, seeing whether it is any type of line of work. You see somebody come early, you see them stay late, you see them working on their craft, and you develop a healthy respect for them. And it's a myth in the NBA that everybody goes to dinner and hangs out all the time and are best friends. That probably ends in high school. But the fact that they respect each other and respect their work is important as far as achieving what we want to achieve on this team.
Do you remember what you were reading when you came across that quote?
I don't know. You try in this position. You try and lead in some capacity, and you try to find ways to be successful. Everybody's got a different methodology as far as how to be successful. But the one thing I know in anything is that if you work hard, there's going to be some positive result. That's maybe the only thing I know. Is if you put the time into something, there will be fruits of your labor. It's very simple, but whatever it is, it may not happen that season. It may not happen the next season. You may hit bumps in the road, but if you keep following that path, you're gonna be successful. And that's what I believe, and I think that hopefully our team believes that.
A lot of the guys have highlighted Bogut here in the early going. How good does he look during the voluntary workouts? He
looks good. I mean, this is the player we envisioned when we traded for him. This is the player that if you follow the NBA, you'd have seen 3-4 years ago. I think the thing that's nice to see with Andrew is his mental game now. He's happier. It's almost like you had a injury or a toothache that was there for a year, and all of a sudden it's gone. You just feel better. You interact with people better. And it translates in your play. A lot of people think you walk on the court and you forget about the rest of your life, or you forget about the pain. It's not true. You're out there and you're frustrated. It shows in your play. Vice versa, you're out there, you feel good. You're gonna be a better, easier to get along with and things like that. And I'm happy for him. He went through a tough road. So for him to just be healthy is great for him and great for our team.
You think your ownership is realistic? And I'll just use an example. That Jed York with 49ers, he always says, and his uncle, when he owned the team, said, we accept nothing else but the Super Bowl. Anything else is a total failure, and that's our only goal. Do you think your ownership may be more realistic?
Well, I think we want to be heading in that direction. I think you always want to be heading in that direction. Somebody said, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Because rarely in life do we just stay on the same path. I mean, you're either going up or you're going down. We want to be going up, and we think we are. What does that mean? It's a competitive Western Conference. I mean, it's competitive. We could have a great year and not ascend to what our goals are. It's very difficult. There's people that are working as hard as we are and as talented as we are and doing all the right things that are sitting there thinking that it's going to be their year. So nothing's going to be handed to us. We don't expect that. I think our ownership's ultimate goals is to win a championship. We're not going to run from that. But that doesn't mean we're going to be disappointed if it does or doesn't happen, because we have to make sure we're employing, like I said, the right process to get there, and that we're always heading in that direction. That's the important
thing. Your ownership as being like George Steinbrenner sitting there thumbing his fingers on the table,
No, our owner, I love Joe and Peter, and to me, they are the best to work for. I mean, for me personally, to work for this organization is I feel blessed every day to come to work. And those guys, if they weren't competitive, I don't know that I'd want to work for them. If I wasn't competitive, I shouldn't be sitting here in this job. I was at my mom's house the other day, and I just thought about this, but she gave me she collects everything, and so she gave me a ticket. She said, I want you to look at something. And she said, she gave me this. She gives me things that I don't save. So she gave me my first NBA game, and this is a Warriors ticket from 1982. I was $7 ticket, and you guys can look at it if you want. But this is where I want to be. I mean, I wouldn't want to work for any other organization, and they're unbelievable to work for. I wouldn't want to change them at all. They give us resources. They encourage us in the front office. I can't say anything negative about them.
We kind of know what Joe does, but what is Peter? Do you talk to him much, or is he?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, he's owned a lot of interest in sports throughout his career. His vision is exemplary. He's constantly looking at how we're branded as an organization. The experience of fans, I think if you polled the fan base of Warriors fans, and going to a game is just a different experience. It just doesn't happen that they have a great time, although we have what I would say is the best fan base in the NBA. People that go to Warriors games have a good time, and that's all well thought out, and Peter's a big orchestrator of that. How does our game ops operate? What is the sound like in the arena? How do we introduce players? What's the shows at halftime, in between timeouts? All those things are well thought out, and Peter is brilliant in that capacity as to the business side of the Warriors. So he's been successful in most everything he's done, so he's done quite a bit.
What is the most challenging part about working with the players?
Players? I think the most challenging part of working with the players is it's the ups and downs of the season. It's a long season. Nobody likes to lose, and just getting through adversity. But we have a great group of players. I think get along, are mature, try to do things the right way. But 82 games is a long time. Every team experiences a moment where things are difficult, and then you find out who you are. But all our players, I think, are pretty easy to work with. And I used to work with them as an agent. That's when they were difficult. Now they're a little easier. So, no, I enjoy working with them. Overall, it's pretty good.
That game in your pocket, what do you remember about that?
I think they were playing, I don't know if it says it on there, but I think it was against Utah. But that could be a memory I concocted that's not real. But I think I remember Larry Smith, because I remember the hard hat thing, Mr. Mean. And I think the fans, did they wear hard hats?
There was a section.
There was a section for a little kid. I was like, what's that all about? Are they doing construction over there? I remember Joe Barry Carroll, I think. And I remember a couple other guys. But, I wouldn't have thought I'd be sitting here after doing that. But I mean, I just love basketball. I mean, I can't stay away from it. So for me to be working here is, dream come true. But it was fun. It's a big deal.
We saw a video a week or two ago of Steph in a windmill dunk.
Yeah.
Has he added some athleticism, some dynamic ability that maybe we haven't seen in the past?
Well, he's not. We haven't played any games. He's not beat up. Yeah, I think a lot of these guys can do more than you think sometimes, especially when there's no one around, and they, he feels. The best thing about that was he feels good. I think his ankle feels good, and a lot of that's just confidence. Sometimes when you're injured or sore, you don't want to test your limits, and that's what we've seen with Bogut. Not thinking about something, and I think that's what's going on with both those guys right now. Is if you're not thinking about an injury, you're probably playing better. If you're thinking about it, even if it's 5% of your mind, it sometimes can limit you physically and mentally, for that matter.
Can you explain for those who don't know, when a bunch of guys come in early, what you can do and can't do as a coaching staff?
Well, you can't technically put in certain sets and things like that and run certain drills. A lot of it's just loose individual work and scrimmaging and things like that. You're talking to the players about certain things you'd like to do or certain things you'd like to put in, but it's more of I don't know what they call it in football or baseball or
Like
something.
open gym.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting to know each other. They're doing some one-on-one stuff, and they're playing a lot of 5-on-5, sometimes 4-on-4, lifting, things like that. But it's not structured like it is in training camp. But the thing that's great is they don't have to do it. And sometimes players don't show up till they have to. And you'd prefer players to show up voluntarily before they have to.